Mamdani just became the first Muslim mayor of New York City. And 50 Cent, who is a New York native, is not too happy about
A remarkable shift unfolded in New York City politics when Zohran Mamdani, a 34-year-old state assemblyman and Democratic Socialist, secured victory in the mayoral election on November 4, 2025. He triumphed over former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who ran as an independent after losing the Democratic primary, and Republican Curtis Sliva, capturing about 50% of the vote in a race that drew over 2 million ballots, the highest turnout for a mayoral contest in decades. Mamdani's win marked him as the city's first Muslim mayor, its first South Asian leader, and the youngest in over a century. His campaign centered on easing the burdens of everyday life for ordinary residents through measures like freezing rents on stabilized apartments, expanding affordable housing options, introducing fare-free buses across the 5 boroughs, and providing universal childcare. These ideas resonated deeply with younger voters, immigrants, and working-class communities, propelling him from a little-known legislator to a symbol of generational change. The celebration was swift, but so was the pushback from some high-profile figures. Curtis Jackson, better known as the rapper and entrepreneur 50 Cent, a Queens native who rose from street life to massive wealth, wasted no time expressing his dismay. Shortly after results poured in, he turned to Instagram, sharing an AI-created image of a gravestone engraved with RIP NYC, founded 1624, died 2025. In another post, he depicted a trash can overflowing with New York icons, a red Yankees cap, a bottle of his Branson cognac, and a can of ginger ale, declaring, "New York is over, pack it up, let's go." The man's first job is Mayor Mamdani running New York. "I need a drink." He followed up with a photo of himself dining with friends, captioning it, "Escape from New York. Hit the road. All roads lead to Shreveport." This referenced his ongoing investments in Shreveport, Louisiana, where his G-Unit film and television company has leased studios, poured millions into an entertainment district, and positioned the city as a hub for his expanding empire, drawn by lower costs and fewer regulations. What fueled this sharp reaction was Mamdani's fiscal blueprint. He proposed a modest 2% income tax increase for those earning over $1 million annually, elevating the top rate slightly while generating billions to fund public initiatives. Corporate taxes would rise to around 11.5%, and the property tax code would be overhauled to eliminate loopholes favoring luxury developments in areas like Central Park South, redirecting the load toward equitable contributions from upscale addresses. Mamdani framed this as basic fairness, ensuring that the wealthiest, who benefit immensely from the city's infrastructure, markets, and talent pool, contribute more to sustain services for everyone. For someone like 50 Cent, whose net worth places him squarely in that bracket, it felt like a direct hit. He had previewed his stance months earlier when Mamdani mentioned him during a radio interview, noting the rapper might bristle at the idea. In response, 50 Cent jokingly offered to cover the mayoral salary, $258,750, and buy a one-way ticket out of town. As screenshots circulated, online reactions exploded. Many users lambasted the artist for hypocrisy, pointing out his own roots in public assistance, hospital bills covered by taxpayer programs during childhood shootings, family reliance on food stamps, and a past that included street hustling in the very neighborhoods now straining under high costs. Comments poured in. One recalled how he once sold substances in those same communities and now seemed indifferent to their struggles. Another quipped about future appearances at symbolic sites abroad, hinting at shifting allegiances. The backlash highlighted a perceived disconnect. Celebrities who preached resilience and community in their music suddenly sounding alarms when policies aimed to redistribute opportunity. Comedian D.L. Hughley amplified this critique, delivering a pointed monologue that dissected the irony. He marveled at how figures who emerged from hardship now recoiled at efforts to alleviate it for others. Hughley contrasted Mamdani's vision, cheaper rents, accessible transit, nutritious food options, with national figures who, in his view, weaponized scarcity for political gain, like slashing aid programs while stoking fear. He argued that if someone truly cared about the vulnerable, they would welcome investments in housing, mental health support, and preventive community programs rather than portraying them as apocalyptic. Hughley's words framed the debate as a litmus test. Who really stands for the people versus those protecting accumulated privilege? Mamdani himself addressed the upper head on during a television appearance, speaking directly to skeptics. He acknowledged differing views on revenue strategies but emphasized accountability. Every additional dollar, he promised, would translate into tangible improvements, restored library hours, more trash pickup to combat rats, expanded early education slots, so that even critics could see the value. In a lighthearted nod amid tension, he revealed a personal ritual. Whenever death threats arrived, often tied to his identity or stance, he blasted Many Men, the 50-cent track reflecting survival against odds. Even though we disagree on this, he said with a smile, I still turn to that for motivation. The host playfully mimicked a cash register, but Mamdani steered back to substance, insisting the 2% adjustment for top earners would transform lives across the board, including those of the affluent, through a safer, more vibrant city. 50 Cent doubled down, reposting the interview clip with a warning. He conceded good intentions yet predicted exodus. High rollers fleeing, businesses shuttering, and if police budgets were reallocated towards social services, chaos ensuing like a real-life purge. All roads lead to Shreveport, he reiterated, touting his southern ventures as the smarter path. This echoed long-standing threats from the elite, pack up for Florida or Texas at the whisper of progressive tweaks. Yet history showed these bluffs rarely materialized. New York remained a magnet for finance, culture, and innovation precisely because of its density and dynamism, irreplaceable elsewhere. The exchange crystallized broader tensions. For decades, working New Yorkers heard that power belonged to the connected, that ambition meant accepting inequality as inevitable. Mamdani's triumph flipped that narrative, proving collective action could reclaim agency. His victory speech invoked this grasp of possibility, urging residents to view the future as theirs to shape. Critics like 50 Cent embodied the flip side. Success stories turned gatekeepers, fearing erosion of edges honed in scarcity. Hughley's commentary nailed the absurdity, those silent on policies that starved families suddenly vocal against ones that fed and sheltered them. Beneath the memes and barbs lay substantive questions about urban governance. Could a 2% hike on millionaires fund free buses without deterring investment? Data suggested yes. Similar increments elsewhere retained talent while yielding billions for infrastructure. Would rebalancing police spending invite disorder? Evidence from peer cities indicated the opposite. Holistic investments lowered violence long-term. Mamdani's platform drew from grassroots organizing, taxi debt relief, street vendor protections, scaled citywide. Volunteers, many first-timers, canvassed relentlessly, translating frustration into turnout. Public sentiment split along familiar lines. Young people, facing record rents and stagnant wages, saw hope in bold fixes. Older moderates worried about stability. Immigrants, a cornerstone coalition, embraced a leader reflecting their journeys. Even some conservatives conceded the appeal of efficiency, proving dollars well spent could win over doubters. As inauguration loomed, Mamdani assembled a transition team of seasoned operatives, signaling pragmatism amid idealism. Business leaders, initially wary, extended olive branches, recognizing mutual stakes in prosperity. 50 Cent's Shreveport pivot continued, but New York's allure endured. Deals flowed where networks thrived. This saga transcended one feud. It illuminated how progress threatens entrenched interests, prompting overblown doomsday prophecies. Yet residents, weary of squeezed budgets and broken promises, chose investment over inertia. They rejected the notion that aiding the many doomed the few. In Mamdani's words, power now rested in their hands, not as charity, but earned through ballots. Whether 50 Cent stayed tuned to Many Men or were rooted permanently, the city marched forward, proving resilience wasn't just survival, but collective thriving. The tombstone memes faded. Living, breathing policies took root, reminding all that New York's story, far from over, was just entering a new chapter. Word count: 2001,